What we do here is go back. Hello viewers and welcome to a new video. Today I'm going to be playing Darkest Tower Hot Hawaiian game once again. This time in vanilla. I'm going to be playing the Great War 1914 scenario as its central powered country, the Ottoman Empire. That's right, as this beautiful fez here. Now what are the goals? Well, in this series, I attempt to do the historical things that the country did in our timeline and try to work with whatever crap I get myself into, plus explain somewhat in depth what it takes to win. I'm going to be using these settings, and without wasting any more time, let's jump straight into the video. So as the Ottoman Empire 1914, we have some dissent, a lackluster industry, but what you do have is somewhat of an army. A little life hack. You have some divisions here in Arabia that you can't try to deploy, so send them to walk to this nearest province so they get out of there. The first order of business is to guard your coast, as you're going to be fighting the Entente and there's no way you're going to contend with their navy. Just send one division in every coastal province that you see, and that will be far more than enough to hold it. Besides those provinces, there's also this province, Rhodos, and yes, that the Entente can use to get into your territory, so keep one division in Smyrna and Denizli. Just keep one division in those two provinces. If you're playing Darkest Tower multiplayer, I would also recommend to guard this coastal province of Zonguldak, as Russia can land here sometimes, but since this is against the AI, you don't really need to bother guarding it. However, let's just do it anyway for the sake of convenience and LARPing. These 12 divisions that are in Europe, let's put it that way, they're going to go and face the British in Egypt, as it's a fairly important front to cover. Now these divisions, they can go to Kuwait and Persia, because the allies are going to, of course, attack you from Kuwait and grab this province of Awas from the Persians. So you'd want to grab it as soon as possible, not to allow the Entente to pull any dirty tricks on you. If you're really concerned about that province, send one cavalry division into, I guess, southern Iraq, because it's the closest to Awas and you can take it relatively quickly. Now, technology. You can get leading by orders, which will increase your organization a little bit. Gratis sends a stabulating machine, as your research modifier is terrible, and increasing it is quite the priority, if I do say so myself. And researching 1914 infantry is also a great plan, as you're going to be doing quite a bit of fighting in World War I, and your units will reinforce fairly quickly. When it comes to ministers and such, go on towards Hawk Lobby, change the armaments dude, I guess, to this individual, and change the Minister of Security to a dude that gives consumer goods need minus 10%. Now, as the Ottoman Empire enters the war somewhere in late October, early November of 1914, your main goal is going to be to remove as much dissent as you can. If you really want to be super smart when it comes to this, you can send another cavalry division into southern Iraq to grab Kuwait as soon as possible, and send a total of 3 divisions to guard the coast here. Oh, interesting, I got a few ships here from the British, I suppose. Well, time to bring them to the Mediterranean. Now where are they? Here they are. I'm just going to rebase them into Izmit and let them sit until the war ends. This is a very important event. You need to say yes here, otherwise you won't join the Central Powers. Plus, it removes 1% of your dissent, which is very worth it. And while you're at it, get even more ships. What's the worst that can happen? You may be asking, why did I put divisions here? Well, it's because Russia tends to occupy northern Persia, and guarding your provinces against an enemy is something you should do in this game. Now so that's what can happen. Okay then. As you can see here, the British Russians occupied this province in southern Persia, so we have to occupy it as soon as possible. Sometimes in mods they trail down a whole route from the British Raj through southern Persia to this province, but here it's only one province, so we are very lucky. Oh, I get this wonderful event here by the end of October, roughly when the Ottomans joined. Well, let's just join and see what happens. So of course we enact general mobilization, get quite a bit of strength to our units, also enact war propaganda as we got a little bit dissent to deal with, declare jihad for a Hawk Lobby slider move, and I guess start attacking. This one cavalry division goes into Awaz with one army group, and the other cavalry division is going to go into Kuwait with another army group. And this coastal guard is going to attack Kuwait as well. I also kind of almost forgot, another coastal guard can go here. So this is how it's going to look here. We can start pushing into Russia as well, try to take Kars and this southern Persian province. I'm going to attack the British now. Also, 2 divisions that have arrived from the Arabian Peninsula can be used as coastal guards as well, but we still have to get to those provinces first, of course. I would recommend getting the descent that you got from entering the war, since your TC is trash and it's only going to get bigger if you have partisan activity also messing you up. Oh, this little bonus from the Germans. We're going to get extra coastal defenses in Gallipoli, but that's not really necessary to win. However, it's a very nice gesture. So we have defeated Kuwait here, like Saddam always wanted, and took the southern Persian province. So we're going to send most of the divisions here into Russia, since helping out Germany is quite a important task here for us. Maybe 2 divisions against the United Kingdom is a pretty nice idea as well, and the rest can go into Russia once again. Also, try to redeploy everything at once. So for example, if you try to redeploy and it says it arrives on December 11th, if I had unpaused and tried to redeploy another unit into this province after my TC got overloaded, it could have been in January or something of the sort. So this is a very nice tip and trick for Darkest Tower. Another thing to do is to set your units to anti-partisan duty. So for example, I have 14% partisan activity in Kuwait after taking it, so I'm going to set these units to anti-partisan duty and these units as well. I dropped it to 13%, which will overload my TC just a little bit less. And while the TC is overloaded, fighting will be very difficult due to your reduced effective supply efficiency, which kind of kills your unit's ability to fight, as you can see here by the ESC bonus, so you just have to wait it out. Now to gain the sense to tabulating machine, get the automatic feed tabulator for even quicker research. It seems that I have failed to take this province here against the United Kingdom, but it's okay, I suppose, since finding the United Kingdom is not the most important thing here. The most important thing is to help Germany defeat Russia by taking important cities, such as Baku, Tbilisi and Yerevan, as they raise the Russian descent, and help Germany out, I suppose. As you can see, they kinda need it. However, there's this one fun thing we can do: buy national war bonds and invite the Senussi against the Egyptians. And thankfully they accepted our proposal, which means that they're going to invade the United Kingdom from Libya. And we also get some descent reduction here, and then increase in our research modifier. So the United Kingdom has launched an offensive against us here in El Arish, but I'm not going to do anything about it quite yet, as we are holding. I'm not going to continue researching doctrines quite yet, and you'll soon see why. So we're starting to get into a little bit of trouble here against the United Kingdom. By this point, Bulgaria has joined the war and can just take their units after assuming military control and putting all of them against the United Kingdom. It's extra assistance that can be used fairly well here. That was very close. So here, if you're really worried about the British defeating you, you can choose this Army Defense Combat Modifier Minister. If you're extra worried about the British doing you in, just get generals that have the defensive focus trait and you should be able to hold fairly well. Alright, see, this is the event I was waiting for. Germany extends its military support. Here you get quite a few new ministers that you can utilize against the allies, and besides that you get very nice research teams. Here I think I would still keep the defensive dude, but here I will keep Sievert due to the descent growth rate reduction, and this individual for 20% supplies is amazing, as supplies are eating up most of my economy. So now, instead of researching important doctrines with crappy tech teams, you get to research important doctrines with good tech teams. Or at least ones that are far better than the ones you had before. If the logistic issues are killing you, well, you can research army logistics as well. So it's fairly important to try to encircle Russia here in the Caucasus, and as you can see here, I succeeded and took quite a few important cities for me. So it's time to clear up the pocket and try to push towards Tsaritsyn/Stalingrad to hit the Russian descent even more, though it does seem that my allies are having a little bit of trouble here. So once you're satisfied with your descent reduction, you can probably start building 3 militias forever, basically. Why? Well, militias are cheap, and you can swap out the current infantry divisions you have guarding your coast for them so that they can be used elsewhere. So I made a little bit of a mistake here by completely ignoring Bulgaria. It seems that Greece has joined the war for some other reason, so we have to deal with them now. Ugh. So after getting shrunk point relatively quickly, it's time to research mass charge. Meanwhile, I'm trying to pull off as many encirclements as I can against the Russians. So since I think I'm doing a good job of holding in Elarish, I can send 3 Bulgarian divisions here to assist against the Greeks. So after getting 1915 production, you can get 1915 agriculture. It's not a bad tech as it increases IC a little bit and gives a small boost to supply production. Speaking of stuff, I got another encirclement down. Hooray! While I'm desperately trying my best against Russia, Germany seems to be doing fairly well against France, and if they take Paris, I think there's a very good chance they're going to capitulate. And I, meanwhile, am still successfully encircling more and more Russian troops, which is how you should be playing here. And in total we got 5 divisions here, which is not too bad at all. We also did somewhat of an encirclement here, so we're going to close that pocket off and go for a quick push for Tsaritsyn, as the British seem to be doing okay in Elarish, to put it lightly. So since the British have broken through, it's going to be very wise to send the coastal guards units that have been replaced against the British. Oh, finally Germany has capitulated France. Well, let's hope I get some help against Russia here. Also, this supplying 1916 tech is very important to get, as it makes units much cheaper to maintain supply-wise. So I thought the level 4 forts here in Gaza would be enough to hold the Eternal Anglo, but no, they are breaking through. Oh, I was kind of starting to get worried, but Russia has descent in national provinces, which means that the Russian Revolution is going to arrive soon. I can breathe a sigh of relief as time goes on. It seems that we got a little bit more assistance from Germany, which I really need honestly, so I'm going to try to deploy these troops against the British too. If you're this deep in World War I, you can start researching 1916 infantry, because why not at this point? I also limited the amount of troops I have on the Russian front, as I think the United Kingdom is a bit scarier to deal with right now. Germany even took Petrograd from Russia and it's still not over. Oh, finally Russia went social liberal. This is the beginning of the end for them, thankfully. Yeah, while Russia is being pushed back fairly well, I'm not going to comment on what's going on here. I got war weariness. I did lose quite a few men in this war, if you could remember the manpower I started with. Okay, this was one hell of a battle. However, what I have noticed here is that France cut off half of Greece, so these units are encircled here, and we can also encircle them in Macedonia. Oh, finally you're sending me help directly. Before I forget, you can liberate Azerbaijan and Georgia as puppets, because you'll probably lose them once the peace deal fires. Well, you won't have puppet master over them, rather. So after getting the efficient supply system, you can get 1914 cavalry if you want at this point. Right, it seems that Russia peaced out without a revolution for some odd reason. Well, I don't mind. I don't have to occupy their country anymore. Plus I got Armenia and other Caucasus countries. And the UK and Hejaz has surrendered to us. Well, we couldn't defeat Greece because half of them are occupied by France for some reason, but it doesn't matter. Surprisingly, this game ended without a Russian revolution. This has been a disaster episode of sorts. Because, yeah, I could not plug in the Egyptian front at all, which would have made it much easier to hold against the UK. As you can see here, they were steadily advancing into the Middle East, but we ended up winning with Germany carrying us in the end. Well, I see that as an absolute win, considering we've been fighting with overloaded transport capacity all this time. So I hope you enjoyed the episode, and I'll see you on another else I plan on doing. Goodbye everyone.